Recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume we have up first is a full stack software engineer. And I do non-tech resumes as well, but the first one, full stack software developer. So what we need for a full stack software developer is this stuff right here. Degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, React, JS, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, SQL or NoSQL, MongoDB, RESTful API, REST APIs, Cloud, CI/CD, Git, .NET or Python or Java, and a bonus points for those stuff. This is a awful resume. How do I know that? They say their ratio, which is it takes them over 150 applications to get an interview, which is not good. So that's how you can tell. Ideally, what you want is 1 in 50 at a minimum. Anything above 1 in 50 is bad. So, this person stated, I have to revamp my resume. I have revamped my resume after watching your videos. I just wanted to get feedback. I've been really struggling to get interviews. I don't know if it's the job market or most likely my resume. Thank you in advance. Okay, so we don't fully know if it's this resume or not that's actually getting it, but I'm glad that you use my format, which is in the links below. It is this. This is how you do it. It will help your formatting, but formatting is like 30% of your grade. Content is the most important stuff. So can I find this in 20 seconds? I don't know. Let's find out. And go. Okay, degree, good. Supported student research by developing and maintaining web infrastructure with Next.js. Okay, Docker and AWS. Led development of scalable RESTful endpoints in Node.js and Next.js. Implemented, don't care, you already mentioned this, and okay, finally you bring that up, and declined. Okay, so here's what's wrong with this. Your formatting is almost perfect, right? There's too much of a gap between these, there's too much of a gap between this, this is how it should look. But that's not your main problem. The main problem is, you stated you are a full stack software developer. Well, how come I have to find all the way down here the most important part? And can I find JavaScript? All the way down here on the second page. That is the first time you mentioned JavaScript. This has some of what we want, but if you are a full stack developer, I need to see TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS within the first 10 words of your first sentence. Otherwise, you are probably going to get rejected. You don't actually have JavaScript until all the way at the bottom. That is core. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold on, Lee. Next.js, that stands for next.javascript. Yeah, but that's not JavaScript. And if you ever tell a software engineer that Java and JavaScript are the same, they will destroy you, and rightfully so, because Java is primarily for the back end, and JavaScript is primarily for the front end. And then it gets a little weird with some of this other stuff. The problem is Next.js could very well be something different than just JavaScript. So this is one of your big problems is they probably read this stuff and they say, okay, it's good that you have AWS. It's good that you have CI/CD pipelines. That's nice. And RESTful APIs and Node, but there's no TypeScript or JavaScript. They may actually stop reading here. Not because of the formatting, but because they just don't see what they need, and they're going to make the assumption that, well, you would have mentioned it first. And I've heard that from so many managers, that if you are applying for, say, like, data lake stuff, if you don't put data lake stuff in your opening sentence, they will assume that it's not important and you don't have it. And I know how ridiculous that can be, but that is the assumption on the manager's part, not necessarily the recruiter's part. So your first problem is these are all off, right? Like, this needs to have JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, and CSS. I need to see that in the first one. And then you do have Cloud, which is good. You do have CI/CD. I don't see Git. I don't see SQL. Oh, yeah, you don't have SQL, do you? All the way down there. Okay, after. All right, so SQL's there, but it's all the way at the bottom. And that's probably your main problem with this. That and the fact is, quite frankly, you are... I'm going to make an assumption in international, and I don't know how that works in Canada, but I do know in the US that is going to hurt your chances. But your big problem here is this does not read like a full stack developer. This reads like nothing. And I know you have it here, but this stuff down here is what's actually important. So if anything, I want you to redo this and put this as the first sentence and say designed and built a full stack platform using TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React, in an AWS environment. That needs to be your first sentence for a whatever this is. And that is what is primarily holding you back. And then I need SQL in the second sentence, along with RESTful APIs and CI/CD and Git if you have it. So this is unfortunately just the world of software engineers, and that is the world that you all live in. That may not be right, it may not be just, but it is what we're dealing with, and that is why I'm trying to teach you this stuff, because that is what's going through the hiring team's mind. And again, the hiring manager, not just the recruiter. So, especially because you are probably an international and you are going to need as much help as you can get. And I've gotten international jobs too by using this type of format. So the formatting slightly off, but a bigger issue is just that you don't tell me the important stuff, right? It's like if you would hire like a salesperson and they don't mention sales at all in their resume, you would be a little sus. If you went to a doctor who is a head specialist and they don't mention anything about heads, they only mention feet and toes and throats, you would be like, well, hold on, this doctor does not specialize despite the name. So that is your problem. This should be your first sentence, and then I don't care about Prisma or you just need to basically tell me what it is. In fact, actually, the more I'm reading this, I don't know what this is. You say it helps them for decision making, but that's not really relevant. Like, what did you do? Like, you made a web infrastructure platform. Like, what was this for, right? Like, was this for AI? Was this for... I get that it's for researchers, but, like, what industry was it? Your bullet points are very big, but they still don't have as much context. And I'm going to be very nitpicky because, again, you are going to have a real tough time getting a role, especially if you need that stuff. And, again, I don't know Canada's rules. I just assume they're probably close to the US ones, and maybe a recruiter from Canada can correct me, which I would be happy to listen to. But right now, this would not work in the US because you just mentioned it all the way down here. So, and that's all I can do for this one. So before we go to the next resume, I just want to say, if you need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I want to thank you all for subscribing and liking and commenting, and to my members who get access to videos a little bit early. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. And let's go to the next resume. I forgot to mention one thing, so we're going to go back to this resume real quick. You don't state where you are. Unless Canada PR is it. But if you look in this right here, you want to put where you are and you're located. So unless this is specifically where you're located, then you can ignore this, but you really need to show where you're located. Also, you have phone number and email. You do want to put up your LinkedIn because they may think you're a scam candidate. There are a bunch of candidates now that are essentially fake that apply for essentially like remote roles and sometimes on-site roles. And if you don't have a LinkedIn that they can verify, they may not move you forward. I hate that that's actually what it's come to, but like I've had to deal with too many fake candidates that if somebody applies to my role and they don't have a LinkedIn for a remote role, it's not as much of an issue for on-site. I will immediately start being suspect they are a fake candidate, which you can look it up. It's all on the net. It happens a lot. All right, now to the actual HR director. So this is a resume of an HR director. We do not know their ratio. They said, I took time off to be a caregiver and it's been a long year and I really miss work. I'm targeting hybrid or remote roles. Okay, so I will state this format works best for almost everybody. The exception is directors, which you are. There is another format that I have that is unfortunately very difficult to teach, and it's this, right? I call this the 3-bucket one. This is better for people that are job hoppy or high-level directors. And how you basically format this is you pick 3 big skill sections, and then what you do is you put in what you did under that. So in this case, for a director, it's usually going to be like industry, how you scaled stuff, and then like influencing stakeholders. And then every single one of these is going to go under those broad buckets. And then instead of putting it in reverse chronological order, what you will do is you will put just how many years of experience you have with that, since it kind of falls apart. This one falls apart for directors and job hoppers. I can teach you more in my live stream. It's just that's as much as I can go into it now. But I do know that even if you used this format, it would be way better than this one. So this is really hard to read. You don't want to put this weird stuff up at the corner. You want it to be basic and boring. So it should either look like this or this. But if you notice, this part is still the same. All right. So what we're looking for in an HR director can be broken down, and as most directors, into a couple of like categories. First off, degree can matter. Honestly, it could be a nice to have, but a lot of them did want a degree. The industry is going to matter a lot, whether you're in healthcare, software, startups, life sciences. They want you to have industry experience in the industry that you're applying to. And then this is where we actually break it down, and it's broken down into talent attraction, which is like recruitment, scaling teams, hiring in general, and then retention and the systems. So like equity compensation, retention strategies, industry knowledge in this case. Then it's broken into how you can influence stakeholders, and then the volume of people that you had, right? Like an HR director for a company of 20 people is going to have a different job than an HR director of a company of 200,000. So that matters. This is where we actually need numbers. And then I also need to see that you are able to multitask while meeting deadlines across cross-functional stakeholders, which sounds like corporate gibberish, but it's not. It basically means you're going to have like 20 different people that are not going to talk to each other, tell you to do stuff. You have to influence them, and you have to basically figure out how to get their stuff done on time and on schedule. And that you can speak to the lowest to the highest in the company, so the very bottom of the rung to the highest, and then the tech itself, which is HRIS, MS Office, and probably a few other industry things. So these are what I'm going to be looking for, and you can kind of break those down again into the 3 bucket style here, which is one would be like scaling, the other would be tech and retention, and then the other would be like influencing stakeholders. So I would put influencing stakeholders above tech. So can I find that in 20 seconds? Probably not, but maybe. Also, yeah, this formatting is so bad right now. This is so hard to read. Okay, I'm going to have to, like, I can't even actually read this that well. Let me up it now, because then nobody can read it. Okay, great. All right, well, this is what we've got. And go. Okay. No. Can't use anything there. Collaborated with business leaders. Okay, to develop organizational strategies or business, served as a consultant for leadership, bold insights. This is nonsense. Champion understanding adoption of HR programs and policy while fiercely advocating for diversity and inclusion. That's good, actually, but you don't tell me how. All right, and that's it. So the flaws with this resume are formatting. This is very, 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 very hard to read. This font is so small because you didn't even try to get it. Like, I don't even understand why you did that, because you can't even get into one page, so it's not like you crunched it. But yeah, it's a nightmare to actually read. Like, that font is so small and so dense that I can barely read this, and it's actually kind of hurting my eyes. That's not good. The second thing is when you're applying to a director and manager type of position, and this is the higher you get up, the more important it is the keywords themselves are not necessarily as important as how you did the keywords. And the problem I have with these sentences is you don't tell me how you did it, right? You collaborated with business leaders. How did you meet with them? How did you do that? To expertly develop organizational and people strategies that powerfully supported business strategy. How did you do that? I don't know if this is AI or not, and it probably isn't, but it sounds like you just put in a bunch of buzzwords and not how you did it, and this would cause you to get rejected. Served as a trusted consultant and coach for the leadership team. Which parts of the leadership team? Was it one part of the business unit? Was it multiple directors? Were they VPs? Were they managers? I don't know. You didn't tell me. I don't know how many people are at this part of the company. And yes, I know Sony Music is big, right? There's probably a lot of people, but how many people were you like working for? Right? Was it 20 people in one small department? Was it 200? Was it 2,000? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Championed and understanding adoption of HR programs and policy. What policies? You don't tell me, while fiercely advocating for diversity, inclusion, and responsive in a human-centered workplace. I mean, that's great. Like, DEI is good, and anybody who says it's not does not understand hiring. But how did you do it? What were the policies? I've done those types of trainings, and I could probably name a little bit of them. How did you set up interviews to reduce discrimination in the workplace? What was the data collection techniques and how did you do it? Did you submit those to the EEOC yourself? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Man, I kind of wish I reviewed this one first. Okay. Offer unwavering expertise on legal and regulations and employee issues, ensuring I don't have to read the rest of it because it sounds like corporate gibberish. Like, none of this gives me any details. And you don't tell me how you did it. You don't tell me that you multitask. You don't tell me that you did it cross-functional. You don't tell me that you yourself did the hiring or you scaled the team, which is the important part. You don't tell me that you influenced the stakeholders, only that you collaborated with them. So, this is why this is a terrible resume. The title of this video might be "The Second Resume is Awful." And I'm not saying you're awful. This is clearly a pretty impactful job. It's clear that you've probably done some stuff. But the fact that I'm reading this and I still have no idea what you did is a problem. And the people that are going to hire you for this probably are going to have that problem. They're going to read this and say, well, this just reads like gibberish. Like, they don't tell me what they did. They don't tell me the number. They don't tell me how they implemented those policies, whether it was in the interview processes, if it was interview questions, or the result even of the DEI initiatives, which are good. I have nothing to go on. All I know is that you worked with DEI and business leaders in Latin America, APAC, and EM in the US. And that's it. That's actually it. I don't know what you did for this part of Sony Music Entertainment. And that is why you're having a problem. There's no way this is going to easily get, like, if you're looking for a hybrid or remote role, or at least remote, you need to step this up. And again, I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying this is why you're struggling. So fix your formatting first, because this is awful. And then go back and redo these bullet points. Like, the context behind what you did is the most important thing. If we don't have that context, we don't have the ability to move you forward. Next resume. This is a analytics engineer. So what we need for an analytics engineer is degree, SQL, Databricks, PySpark, data engineering, SDLC, building, testing, coding, Python, cloud, BI tools, data visualization tools, Tableau, Power BI, Looker, AI, CI/CD, large data sets, cloud, database management, systems such as MongoDB and Microsoft SQL, the ability to collaborate with both technical and non-technical stakeholders, and ETL, ELT is extra credit. So this is, I think, their third version of this. Let's see how it's done. They have not applied for roles yet, as they're graduating in April, and they wanted to get their resume ready first, which is fair. All right, and go. Okay, slightly long, but it's fine. Formatting needs work. Build data models and ETL pipelines using Azure Data Factory, Alteryx, and PySpark. Analyze the Python and SQL, synthesize accountable non-technical and Excel dashboards. Okay. Just enhance operational effectiveness. What do you mean by that? Okay. This needs a little bit of work. Your formatting is off. It should look like this. You want it to be basic and boring. This part is fine up there. And this, yeah, you kind of need both of them. Yeah, this might have to be this long, unfortunately. So I don't know if you need some of these certs, right? Again, it's kind of an issue, is I don't know the exact certs you're going to need. I don't think I found a ton of them last time, because, like, I don't know if the Power BI analyst is one that's needed or not, or the others. But down here, I really want this to be a little bit different. So let's go through with what we have, right? Because remember, we need 75% of these to move you forward. So we have data models, which is actually not something we need as much. We do have ELT and ETL, but that is extra credit, right? That's extra credit. It's not the main thing, and that's one of the first things I see. We have Azure, which is cloud, good. But you said data factory instead of cloud. I would rather you just say like cloud, because I don't think data factory is something we need as much. So then we go to Alteryx, which I don't see used. Spark and PySpark is, right? And Microsoft Fabric, again, I don't think that's something they're looking for. Then we go here. Analyze using Python is good. And SQL, that's good. And to do insights for non-technical stakeholders and Power BI. So this I like, but I still need like what they did with it. I need the reason or result of them doing this. So we have Python. Do have data visualization, which is good. Although I would prefer, and you did mention Power BI. Yeah, okay, so this one's good. And then you don't I know some of this could be used for AI, but you need to mention it. And then allocation of creating linear models to determine production levels. That's not what they're looking for. And then data governance protocols. Am I looking for data governance? I don't think I am. Using Microsoft Purview, which I'm not looking for, to find lineage across data lines. AI agents and Copilot, that's fine. So, like, my big problem here is I'm still missing a lot of stuff. So, like, synthesizing findings into actionable insight for non-technical stakeholders in Excel is good. The problem with this is this does not tell me that you collaborated them. This just told me that you built a tool for them. I need to know how you worked directly with them. And your resume has a lot of stuff that does not seem relevant to the roles that we have found with this. I don't see that you've done a large data set. I don't see that you've done database. I don't see Databricks or data engineering. I don't see SDLC or CI/CD. And I don't see that you built... No, you did say built up top, so that is good. I actually missed that one because of the formatting. So you did build. I would like to see data testing. So again, it's like you have 60% of what I need to like 50%, and we just need more. Because these are the things that I'm missing. This is extra credit, so this can be removed. Like, did I miss Databricks? Databricks. No, I didn't miss Databricks. Data engineering. No. I don't know if that starts needed or not, but maybe. SDLC, don't see. CI/CD, don't see. Do I see even data sets? I don't see data sets. Database. What about database? All the way down here, no one's going to find it. And what about MongoDB? No. SQL I did find, which was good. And I think the only thing involving stakeholders is this. And they're not going to really find it because of the formatting. So you're just missing some stuff. And again, this is like the third time you've submitted. So please fix your formatting. I swear it helps. It really, 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 really does help so much. Because right now it's very difficult to find what I need with all this other junk in the way. And you don't want the unrelevant stuff. Like, the rule is, if it's not relevant to the job, it does not matter how impressive it is, it should not be on your resume. Everything in your resume needs to be tailored to the job. The job title itself. Otherwise, it's just not relevant. If it's not relevant, like it looks like a lot of this stuff is, it's just taking time away from what I need to find, and that could get you rejected. Next, resume. This is, I don't know. They said environmental scientist, but most of those jobs required a master's or PhD. And this person also stated they're going for botany, environmental, utility line arborist, park ranger, biologist, and invasive plant manager specialist. And some of those all had different qualifications. So I can't fully find those, but from what I did find is you want your degree, right? We can put in degree. You wanted MS Office experience, and you wanted experience with plants and trees. And that's it. That's all I found. It might actually be that simple. I mean, you do need to show that you can work well with others, I will say. So I'm going to say basic customer service, right? Customer service and multitasking. So that seems to be all you need for this type of role. This person says they have a 1 in 25, and you know what? I'd actually believe it, because I was looking at arborist roles to try to find the keywords for this, and they had like nobody applying, absolutely zero. So this resume looks terrible, but that doesn't matter. If nobody else is applying, they will move you forward on the chance that you could have what you need. And they basically, your degree is getting it, and probably your certs. So I'm not going to review this in 20 seconds because this is all I'm looking for. And I think really if they see your degree, they're going to move forward with you. So to have more than a 1 in 25, which would probably be closer to like a 1 in 2 or a 1 in 1 with how little people are applying to these roles, I would like you to change things up a little bit. So first off, use my formatting, right? Second off, this is a lot of stuff. Okay, you don't need all of this. Also, your contact information should be up the top. So again, you want your contact information here. You want your education and certificates here. And in this case, you only need to put your bachelor's. And these, I don't think the open water diver is needed as a qualification. But the rest of these are actually good certs that you can put for this. So this and this is the only thing you should have, and you should format it in the way I showed you. Then we go to here, and that's actually kind of okay. Like, again, I would prefer more. Listen, resource, crafted scripts in R. This is too complicated. You don't want to say R. They probably don't even know what R is. They may not know. They really just want you to say Microsoft Office. So, I mean, this is kind of a really... Oh, and you're multilingual? Bro, they would love you. Yeah, this is what happens when the market is good. So a lot of people say like, oh, the market is broken and I used to get good stuff. Is your resume used to look like this, and there were so little people applying to these roles that they would see one thing on your resume, which in this case is the Bachelor's of Science in Botany, and the fact that you are bilingual, and move you forward. We are not in that market right now, except for the bilingual part. People love bilingual people. It's huge. So yeah, you need to... This is the hard thing for me to say, is you need to completely redo your entire resume, but it doesn't fully matter because your market is so good that even if your resume looks like this, you can get an interview. So if any software engineer is jealous, they probably should be, because this is probably getting them a ton of interviews. If you want even more interviews, fix your formatting, add Microsoft Office, put the Spanish-English stuff up right under here. Seriously, that is a giant green flag. And then write me something about MS Office, and you're good. The rest of this doesn't even matter. Like, this would not fly on anything else, but because there's so little competition, you don't need to try as hard. But if the market ever turns, which it does, every industry goes in ups and downs, even if most of them are down right now, then I'm going to need you to redo the formatting. I'm going to need you to make it legible like this. I'm going to need you to put in sentences about what you used, how you used it, and the reason and result of you using it. And yeah, and you will have more success then. But, you know, again, this is what a good market looks like, folks. Let's go to the next resume. This is a cloud engineer with a focus on AWS, but honestly, you could use this for any cloud engineer. You just replace the AWS specific stuff with the other ones, so GCP or Azure. But what we're looking for is degree, AWS, SDLC, SQL, infrastructure as code, IAC, EC2, S3, RDS, and Lambda if you're going specifically for AWS. Otherwise, you can replace that with whatever the GCP or Azure equivalent is. But you do need Git or GitHub regardless. You also need CI/CD, Python, Bash, PowerShell, explaining complex topics, and talk with non-technical stakeholders. DevOps, Agile, and nice to have is MS Office, I'm serious, AWS Cloud Development Kit, which is CDK. So that is what you need. This person says they have a 1 in 50, which They might. There's a lot of competition for this role, but also there's quite a lot of these roles available in general. They did not give me any notes, so let's just see if this is actually 1 in 50 in 20 seconds, which means there are some things that are correct and others that are not. So go. All right. Okay. Degree. Now, deployed into aided cloud infrastructure for healthcare, different server solutions, compliance, AWS Lambda, good, built in TypeScript, don't care, Amazon Query, Oracle, database, AWS Lambda, use JavaScript to know, decrypt files, decrypt, don't care, AI bot, and that is it. So, I actually don't know if this is a 1 in 50. They use my format, which is good, but remember, the formatting is only 30% of your grade. So, also, you have a slight error here. These should be a little closer together, but that is minor. The big issue is, like, where's all the stuff that I need? You have AWS quite a bit, which is good, but where's the SDLC? I don't see that. Where is the SQL? I don't see that. Where's the IAC? Oh, all the way at the bottom. No one's going to read it there. Where is you had Lambda, that was good, which is good. Where's the Git? I don't see the Git. Where is the Python? No Python. Or PowerShell. Don't see PowerShell. Or what was the other one? Bash. Don't see that. And I don't also see how you explain complex topics. Yeah, I don't. So you're going to have to go back to the drawing board on some of this stuff. You basically spent like 8 bullet points to tell me that you've used AWS Cloud and Lambda, and that's it. that's kind of it. I need more. What was on my arm? I need more. You just don't have enough for me to move you forward. So. But I imagine the reason you're getting some interviews at a 1 in 50 is the companies are seeing that you have at least some of this stuff like AWS Lambda. But seriously, like, this is the stuff they're asking for. Like, not TypeScript, not ETL, not JavaScript or Node, not PGP encrypted files. It's seriously this basic boring stuff. And that is a theme. The basic boring stuff gets you a job. It's not exciting, but it will get you money. So go back, delete a lot of these sentences, and remake them with the stuff that's right here, because this is stuff they're asking for. Like, I was looking at it, almost every single cloud engineer, they needed these. That is why I do it. I don't just think, oh, this is what my particular company would need. I look at an aggregate, and the aggregate is telling you that you don't have the qualifications based on what you wrote. So this is what's important, not whatever SFTP and Oracle TypeScript high trust audits are. But that's all I can do for this resume. I wanted to thank everybody for watching and my members for being members who get access to videos a little bit early. Thank you very much. If you ever need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I will see you all in the next episode.